Good morning. You find me at Carisbrook, and you might not be able to quite see it through the veil, but I am moistened. It is 28-29 degrees, which is exceptionally hot for an overweight British man, and even more so in a bee suit. We've had a really warm spell. Now, if you watched my last video at Carisbrook, I think I expressed some concerns about the nectar flow. So we had a short June gap. It wasn't actually that bad this year, but it hit Carisbrook the hardest because if we look around, so you can see it's green fields as far as the eye can see out here. Now the eye can't see just over the hill where the town is, but for the most part the bees have to go quite a long way for gardens and artificial flowers. But yes, they're finding something right now. Now, I had high hopes for this bramble, but Carisbrook's bramble is actually pretty late compared to the rest of the Isle of Wight. I had high hopes for the St John's wort and the ragwort. Now, they leave the St John's wort for me here because they're very enlightened, but the horses don't like this. This is the ragwort. Now, ragwort is not good for livestock. The St John's wort doesn't matter so much. That's the smaller one that looks a little bit like it. And clover is also in abundance up here. But yeah, this isn't even out yet, so I don't know what they're finding. But they're finding something they like, because I've gone through everything here. It looks like a bomb's hit it, because I've had to really sort out quite a few things, which I'll talk about another time. I will be tidying this up before I go, even though I'm hot and I just want air conditioning right now. But yeah, they're finding something, because we have had an explosive nectar flow since I looked last week. They have absolutely piled in honey, which is really pleasing. Last year, because they're so reliant on wildflower, they got nowhere in Carisbrook. I managed to fill maybe half of one of these supers, so they are smashing it out. So if we have a look here now, don't be deceived, and this is the topic of my video today. So this isn't two supers. This one here is a super and then an empty with a wooden crown board. Hey, what am I doing there then? Using wooden kit. That is unlike me, as if you follow the videos at all. So this is 3 active supers that I've put on, wooden crown board and then an empty super. Now, if you watched my video about honey processing, you will see that I use bags for storing honey in. So I put them in a bucket, but I get food grade catering bags. It saves me a bit of effort on the sterilisation, and there's something else I can do, and I'm going to show you what that is right now, and it really saves on wastage. So I'm just going to go and get it. I've had to leave it in the car because these bees would go absolutely berserk if the moment I bring these out, so I've left it till last. So stand by, I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so I can't talk too long. Please don't celebrate too loudly at that news. But in here I have all of the bags of honey that were left over from extraction. Now this weighs maybe 5 or 6 pounds. That's the residue left over from quite a few extractions there, and you don't want it to be wasted. And so all I do is I turn these bags inside out and pop them on the top. Now when they go in, and I'll start doing this at the last possible minute, because the moment loose honey is about, these bees are going to go berserk. So that's why I've got these wooden crown boards here. Well, this one's got a plastic bit, but you see it's a wooden frame, with a small gap in, so that I've got a space at the top of the hive that I can put this in, and the bees have access to it. They will come and pick that absolutely clean, and then it just holds back. They would, if I left them to their own devices, build honeycomb in here, but that small aperture at the top there, the narrowness of that, just dissuades them from it for the short term. So while there's plenty of space underneath, they won't bother coming up here and trying to build comb, in theory. We must always remember that it's bees. So yes, so quite simply put, before anybody finds it, I will place you there. So I take one of these honey bags and I turn it inside out. I'm also leaving this last because I'm inescapably get honey on my gloves, which the bees then become interested in you for whole new reasons that compound your woes while beekeeping if you get much honey on your gloves. So you try to avoid that. As you see, there's quite a sticky residue here. So I won't reuse these bags after this has happened. They will have to go into recycling after this. They'll no longer be food grade. I'm sure that actually there would be no risk, but it's just not something that we mess about with. I don't mess about with the food chain, or the chain of food that comes into, that's going to go into a jar. So this, so you see in here, it's just that much residue there, but it all adds up. It's and there's quite a bit more on the inner surface of this. So again, I'll just turn it inside out, and I just repeat this. I repeat this across all of the hives here. So I'm going to keep on working, but I'm critically aware that I have a very low battery in the camera, so I am going to sign off now. I hope that this has been interesting and informative. I would be surprised. I'm sure some beekeepers do this, but I've not heard of it. It does make a lot of sense to me. If it helps you, if you're a beekeeper, just to sort of cut down on some of your marginal waste, that's brilliant. If you see a problem with this, one of the things that I do make sure of, I make sure this goes in quite quickly. If you leave honey around, it can start to become, it starts to absorb moisture from the air, and can even ferment, at which point you do not want to feed that back to the bees. That's bad for them. But I hope that you have found that interesting and informative, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Now, how to turn a GoPro off with sticky fingers. I'm probably just going to do it.